Hey, what up, YouTube, and welcome back to the Barlow Zone, home of the one and only demon hunter, King Kaido, himself sent to Azeroth. How's everybody doing today? I'm hoping y'all are having an amazing day. Now I'm not gonna be uploading this till tomorrow, but I wanted to say, man, I just ran up to the comic shop, had to go pick up some of the comics from my buddy. You know, he got a box. They store a bunch of stuff for him, right? Went to go pick that stuff up because he's working. I get back. I'm taking a look at some of the comics. Like, dude, tell me why. Oh, what? I can't remember what the run is. It wasn't an absolute Batman run, but tell me why. I saw this cover, right? And it was Damian, or who I'm assuming to be Damian Wayne, right? Coming in. But tell me why this kid looking like he about ready to become Batman. Oh, dude, it was beautiful seeing that. Anyway, fun trip to the local comic shop. The pretty sweet haul. So I just wanted to share that, in case anybody else is out there reading any of those runs my buddy's reading right now. But I know I mentioned in my last video I was going to be doing kind of a rant video this time, right? Like, there was some that's really been on my mind. Some I just wanted to get everything out there, right? Just get it off my chest, put it all out there, let it be what it is. Let the community react how the community is going to react. But while I was thinking about it, because, I couldn't really sleep last night, I was decided, hey, you know what, maybe if I try to put this video together, it'll be just boring enough, I'll pass out. Didn't quite work. I put together almost a whole video last night before I realized I wouldn't watch that video. Like, I really wouldn't. Not that I have anything against rant videos, right? But the subject I want to talk about is one that I really feel needs to have some kind of skeleton for me to be following. So, you guys may see me referring to the notepad today, even though I did say it was going to be a rant. I want to make sure I'm putting this out here as clearly as possible, because this is something I really hope that more people in the community start considering before we get to the final war in One Piece, right? Because it's one of those things where if we don't consider the possibility ahead of time, or Oda doesn't set it up in a clear and concise way leading into the final war, when this happens, because yes, I am saying it's going to happen. Like, this is a theory that I really believe in, and that's why I keep talking about it. But when it happens, it's going to rub a lot of people raw, because, hit me up in the comments. Let me know. How do you guys feel about Marshall D. Teach now after this God Valley flashback? And, I still think we're going to have at least one more chapter on God Valley, wrap things up. There's this comment Whitebeard made to Shanks way back in the day, right? That this is the chance to add context to that comment, right? With Whitebeard talking about, every time I see you, red hair, it makes my scars ache. We haven't seen Whitebeard take any substantial damage at the hands of Garland yet, so that has to happen before we leave God Valley. Okay, you know what? Maybe it doesn't have to happen, but I feel like Oda's definitely leaving something on the table if he doesn't give us the explanation behind this comment, because it's a comment that's resonated with a lot of people in the fan base, right? But I want to talk about Teach, and as I'm sure you guys gathered from the thumbnail, let's be real with ourselves, okay? I am going to take some time. We're going to go over some of the things that Teach has done in the story to date, right? And while I am saying, let's be real, Teach isn't bad. What I mean is, I guess I should probably add Guy in there, right? You know what? I'm glad I haven't done my thumbnail yet. I'm going to make sure I add Teach isn't a bad guy, because Teach has for sure done raw stuff, right? Like, he's the reason that two fan favorite characters are no longer with us, being Newgate and Ace. Like, fans loved these characters. In fact, to this day, a large part of the community still refers to Whitebeard as Papa Whitebeard, or now that, we've had a substantial amount of time referring to him as Newgate, a lot of people have taken to calling him Papa Newgate, myself included. I love Daddy Whitebeard. Like, dude was one of the real ones. And then obviously, with Ace, right? Blackbeard didn't kill Ace, but he put Ace in that position where death was really the only outcome that was plausible for Ace. Now, on that note, I do want to point out, it's maybe it's just been the 15 years since the last time I actually read Marineford, right? But I'm having trouble remembering a scene. Oh wait, no, okay. I guess all the Blackbeard pirates did light up Whitebeard. But man, go back and look at that scene, right? Because to me, like, thinking back on it now, and even from what I remember, a decade and a half is a long time, so I could be, misremembering some stuff and just projecting thoughts I'm having now onto myself a decade and a half ago, right? But I do have this memory of thinking, Whitebeard was already dead. Why were they lighting him up like that? Like, dude just had that aura. He's standing there, right? So chatted out, so bad mother, right? That even in death, he was still standing there, stoic. Like, you ain't getting past me. Dude's cooked. You'd have to get close to confirm that. But I had always believed that Whitebeard was already dead before Teach gave that command for his crew to unleash on him, right? And to kind of support that argument, it isn't unheard of for bodies to still have muscle spasms and stuff after they are deceased. So the attack that was perceived to be levied against them could have just been a muscle spasm that Newgate was having, right? But anyway, this is what I'm saying. I know a lot of people aren't going to be on board. Everybody's kind of already got their hate bandwagon for Teach, right? Like, oh, dude, you killed Newgate and Ace. Like, I'll give you Newgate, okay? I'll go and give that one, because I'm just theorizing that Newgate was just having a muscle twitch after he was deceased. Very likely, I admit that he was still just barely hanging on and was trying to levy an attack intentionally. So I'll give him that one. But Newgate didn't kill Ace. I mean, not Newgate. Teach didn't kill Ace. He set him up. But while we're on this subject, let's go ahead and remind ourselves that Ace wasn't the person that Teach was after. Teach was after Luffy. Like, he had seen, okay, this guy's making a come up. He got a 30 million berry bounty. Like, hey, if I manage to get him in some chains and take him, man, I could become a warlord. Unbeknownst to him, because he had 86 Thatch from the Whitebeard crew, Ace had a vendetta. But I want to point out that up until recently, right, up until post Wano, Luffy and Ace were really the only two people that Blackbeard had ever gone out of his way to do anything against, right? Like, I do like to argue, Teach hasn't done anything malicious to Luffy. And I realize that's technicality at best, because, as I said, Teach was pursuing Luffy to try and become a warlord when he ran into Ace, right? So only by the slimmest of technicalities is that statement right. Teach hasn't done anything malicious directly to Luffy. In fact, let's take a look at his introduction on Jaya, right? On Jaya, we were not only introduced to Marshall D. Teach, but the primary antagonist, I guess. I don't know. Jaya was real quick. It was intended just to lead us into Skypiea, right? But the primary antagonist of Jaya was Bellamy, somebody who insisted on trying to crush Luffy's belief in his dreams. Notably, Teach was the exact opposite. Teach said dreams never die. Like, he is already, yeah, okay, we had that bar scene, right? Like, they disagreed on how good the pie and the juice were. Man, friends have disagreements. It is what it is. Family has disagreements. Rivals have disagreements. It's just the nature of two people who interact a lot, right? You're not going to agree on everything. As an example, I like to reference my friend on Discord, right? How she's always been a great sounding board for me when I'm trying to get my thoughts straight and all that, right? We do not agree on everything. We have had quite a few arguments with each other about various topics. Um, and, that is why I consider her a friend, even though I've never met her. Relationship or whatever is 100% online. But we respect each other enough that, even when we have an argument, it's like, okay, you know what, take a few days, relax, separate, go to your own corners, ding, 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 round two. Hey, I got a new debate topic, homie. What you feeling like? It's just part of interacting with somebody on a regular basis. You are going to have disagreements. There's no getting around it. I also want to point out the sketch. Now, I'll probably grab a screenshot on this one not because I don't think people are aware of it or are familiar with it, because it's something that has become surprisingly relevant again with this God Valley flashback. But we take a look at Kid Teach, right? This sketch that Oda gave us of Teach as a kid. Like, even before the God Valley flashback, this sketch told us everything we needed to know, right? Like, this is a traumatized child. This is a kid who has seen something that he shouldn't have had to see and doesn't know how to process what his brain and heart are doing to him. Teach is a victim. Let's start there, okay? We're not going to start at where we are in the story now. We are starting at the beginning of Teach's life now, right? Teach is a victim. Him and his mom were on God Valley just trying to live their life. They weren't intentionally doing anything to antagonize the world government. I mean, come on, dude. When the world government landed on God Valley, the residents were, oh, hey, you guys are world government agents, aren't you? Hey, why don't you come on? We got some food, we got some grub, we got some brew. Why don't you come party with us, relax or whatever it is. We appreciate the offer to join you guys, but we're solid right now. We don't really need it. Mistake. But Teach is somebody who was forced to grow up and take on something that he wasn't ready for. Notably, it's kind of weird I had that thought right now, especially after 1164 and 1165 with what we've been getting from Garp and Roger, right? These two men don't want to be doing what they're doing. Like, Garp has a respect for Roger. Roger has a respect for not only Garp, but also Xebec. Like, these three, I want to say, what was it, end of 1163? I think it was the end of 1163. Dude, that was somebody else. That was somebody else. I ain't gonna talk about that. Moving on. Okay, he's been responsible for deaths, notably Ace and Newgate. Talked about that. Survived the God Valley incident. Okay, so this is kind of a big one for this idea. I hate calling it a theory because it's not how I see it. We've gotten enough clues in the story that I don't believe that it's justified to continue to call Teach a bad guy. I really don't. I don't see this as a theory, but for the sake of being real, right? Because that's the idea. Let's be real. This is a theory. This is my theory that Teach is not a bad guy. But he survived God Valley, right? Why is this notable? Because at the time of the God Valley incident, Teach would have been, I believe, 2 years old. Now, 2-year-olds, they aren't able to, form sentences yet. They're able to make sounds, maybe say a word or two, but their senses, for the most part, have developed pretty well. And notably, here's the important part. At 2 years old, your memory is forming. Not like beginning to form. Like, it is actively finishing up its formation and being able to process and hold on to things. As an example, I'm not going to go into what the memory is because it's a little personal. But my first active memory is from when I was about 2.5 or 3 years old. I know it's got to be around that age because my younger sibling was still in the car seat. So, simple math lets me know I know how much older I am than my sibling, right? So my first memory is right about this age that Teach is at right now. So it is entirely believable that Teach is seeing and understanding what's going on around him. He saw his dad tell his mom to run away and save him and stay behind. Like, I even pointed out in my chapter reaction for that one that Teach's face looks like he understood this was the last time he was going to see his dad. Like, sorry, my got a little bit of feels right there. But then this man comes back as a demon, trying to kill you and your mother. I don't know if I believe Teach would be able to process and understand the tears and the snot face, right? I don't think Teach would understand that this being that's trying to kill them doesn't want to be trying to kill them, right? But here's what I do believe. Because Eris made it off the island as well. We have no idea where Eris was sent. Kuma might not know where Eris was sent. All that matters is Eris and Teach are no longer on this island. They survived the God Valley incident. So, because Eris was so head over heels in love with her husband, right? Like, I've identified Eris as the #1 Xebec glazer ever. Like, homegirl believed in her dude. Like, and that is awesome. Say what you will about pirate life, about whatever's going on in the story. That's beautiful. And all the chaos of the world, these two people still managed to find each other and form a legitimate emotional partnership to where they believed in each other. They believed in what the other one was trying or wanting to do. And we do know that Eris had at least an inkling of an idea of what Xebec wanted to do, because when he showed up in his demon form, remember, her words were, "I'm sorry, you lost because of us. You lost because you had to fight them too early. Too early. Too soon." Whatever the translation you read said, she understood at least some modicum of his plan, that she knew this form she was looking at was the confirmation that it went down too early. He had lost. And I think because Eris had some level of familiarity with Xebec's plan, and she managed to survive the God Valley incident with her son, I have no doubts that Eris talked to her son about his father. I mean, honestly, we only need one fact from the story to confirm this, right? What is the name of Teach's flagship? Because if the God Valley incident and the name Roxy Xebec had been wiped from history, how would Teach have known to call his ship the Saber of Xebec? He is carrying on the dream of his father. Now, because of this, I do want to point out, as I've said, I'm aware Teach has done some raw things, right? Like, just because I'm saying he's not a bad guy doesn't mean he hasn't done some things he needs to be judged for. Notably, going after and targeting Ace and Luffy. But, hold on, time out. Does he need to be punished for this? Because was it wrong for Teach to target these two? Because who are they? Luffy is the grandson of Monkey D. Garb, and Portgas D. Ace is the son of Gold D. Roger. Why would those two men be important to teach? I really hope I don't have to say it, but those two men are the ones who killed his father. It makes sense. And not even just makes sense. It makes perfect logical sense for this traumatized child to pin that blame on Luffy and Ace and target them and go after them, right? But it is wild that even though Teach got his hands on Ace, he did not deliver that punishment himself. Which, I don't know. It could have just been because it was part of the Warlord plan, right? Like, hey, if I don't bring them in alive, there's no guarantee they're going to make me a Warlord. If I bring them in and let them do the public execution thing, then I got a little more leverage. I could be like, make me a Warlord. So, it could have just been that, right? Or, and here's what I like to theorize here along with this, right? Teach doesn't want revenge for his father's death. Eris may not have understood everything that was going on with Xebec in that final moment that they got to see each other, but she understood it wasn't her husband. This demon that was trying to slice her down wasn't her husband. It was somebody wearing her husband's face. So if you're going to talk about your deceased husband to your child, right? After all this honestly horrific, traumatic stuff went down, right? Why would you not also point out that, hey, sorry, I saw something on my lens. Why would you also not point out that, hey, that last time you saw your dad, he wasn't your dad? Something, I don't know what it was, but something was going on, and somebody else was wearing your dad's face. That was not who your dad was. Your dad loved you. Because is that even a theory? Why did Xebec want to go to God Valley? It wasn't for Shaki. I mean, that's what he told his crew to make sure they would join him. But what did he tell his one friend when his friend tried to stop him? I have to. I told my wife and son to go there because they would be safe, and they aren't. I have let them down. I need to go there and protect them. That was all Xebec wanted to do. Everything else was a front, a facade, a lie, whatever he needed to say to his crew to get them to come with him, right? Now, this other little thing I want to talk about real quick is, and I believe it was on Liam's video, I posted the comment asking the question, did Xebec have the Yami Yami no Mi? Now, I understand when this video does drop, the official translation's already going to be out, so please do let me know. I'm going to read it in the morning, but please let me know in the comments if you feel like the rest of this is irrelevant because of some different word the official translation used. But I want to take a minute to dive into this mass. Roger and Garp, they had to put their mass behind the attack. Not their hockey, not their devil fruit, not their weight, their mass. That's a kind of ambiguous term, right? Because in reality, at least in the story of One Piece, the mass is all of that. Your body weight, your soul, your hockey, everything you have at your disposal, right? Like that would be what's defined as the mass. Sorry, that's really bugging me, y'all. I had to take care of that. Now, why does this word mass intrigue me so much, right? Because one of the heaviest things known to man is a black hole. It has, even even the smallest black hole still has something like 100 to 1,000 times the mass of our sun, which is the heaviest thing in our solar system, being, the star of our little solar system. So I am quite curious if Xebec is currently, or at least was currently, during the God Valley flashback and all this flashback with the Herald death stuff, right? If Xebec was already in possession of the Yami Yami no Mi. Because one thing I find really interesting is even the giants said that they had never faced somebody who had the kind of power behind the attacks that Xebec levied. And they were also baffled by the speed at which these insanely powerful attacks were coming out. I know, we haven't seen him use the power like Teach has, right? We haven't. I understand that. But if he was putting the mass of a black hole behind his sword swings, it would give the swing of that blade the properties that the giants described it as. So, I haven't really fully thought out that one. I would love to know what you guys think. How are you feeling about the possibility that Xebec was in possession of the Yami Yami no Mi during the events of God Valley? Because I find it curious that Teach specifically chose to join Newgate's crew in his attempt to find the Yami Yami no Mi. Now, real quick, on that topic, I want to point out that sometime in the next decade, after the God Valley incident, sometime in that next decade, Eris is going to die. Why do I say that? Okay, he's 2 on God Valley, about 2, somewhere between 2 and 3 years old during the events at God Valley, when they make it out of there. And he was 12 when he joined Newgate's crew. Now, it's possible. It's possible that Teach just decided, I really don't want to make this reference, y'all. You know what? I'm just not going to make the reference because I really can't support that. 12 has an interesting relationship with manga. And honestly, from what I understand in the Japanese culture, a lot of kids start to branch out and get first-time jobs of their own about that age, somewhere in there, right? But, that's a decade. 2 to 12, that's 10 years. So sometime in the 10 years after the God Valley incident, maybe Eris didn't die, but something happened to her that pushed Teach to decide to leave, branch out, and go do his own thing. What's up, Alice? You come to say hello? All right. We got the hoodie buddies. Oh, come here. Come here, babies. Oh, you knocked over my pad. You knocked over my pad. You want to say hello, YouTube? Hello. Now, I do want to talk about at worst, right, when we're dealing with Teach, at worst we're looking at somebody who was even accidentally indoctrinated into a belief by his mother just because of the stories she wanted to tell him about his father, right? I think that's unlikely because of the relationship that Eris had with Teach. I don't think it's one of those situations where he was accidentally brainwashed into pursuing his father's dream. At best, Marshall D. Teach is the princess of the overall story of One Piece and the person more than anybody who needs to be saved. Now, the question on that comes down to, is Teach going to realize that? Because, as I've pointed out before, Luffy's not the traditional anime manga main character, right? Like, he doesn't just help somebody for the sake of helping somebody. You need to pass some checks to get his help. Like, notably, you need to ask. You need to show him that you're willing to fight for yourself, and you need to feed him. And you know what? We'll take it one step farther with the 3.5. If you give him meat, he's going to full carry you. Arr. You going to nom my hand, baby? You going to nom my hand? So I think, personally at least, I think the second idea is far more likely, right? Like, Teach is the princess, quote unquote, right, of the Davy clan, the rightful rulers of the world, and is the person most in need of Luffy's help. Now, it's not really clear now because of how Teach and Luffy have been portrayed up to this point in the story, right? But Luffy and Teach will realize when this final war starts popping off, right? These two will realize that they need each other. As much as Teach needs Luffy to help save him, we already know that the power of Nika isn't enough to win this war against Emu. So, you know, I just kind of wanted to throw that out there. Looks like I do have one more little note here on the bottom, and it's one that I find really interesting. Oh, I just made her stomp my jams. Ooh, sorry. And I think it's interesting to think that Marshall D. Teach is more in need of knowing the truth of the God Valley incident than Luffy. Because, you know, let's be honest with ourselves, right? Like, as the title of the video is, let's be real, Luffy wouldn't care. Even if somebody put in the effort to try and give him this information, he just wouldn't care. Like, I got to imagine Luffy sitting here listening to Loki and Gabon tell this story about the God Valley incident. He's probably the one sitting there scratching his head like, how does this relate to Harold's death? Like, why are we wasting time talking about this? Like, Luffy wouldn't care. Teach, I feel like if Teach can understand what happened to his dad in those final moments, he will realize that Luffy is the key to his dream coming true. Whatever his dream is, because is it just to become king of the world? I mean, it could be, you know, with Xebec's statement about the Davy clan being the true rulers of the world, right? Like, it could just be he wants to reclaim his throne. And even if that is the only dream that Teach is pursuing, he still needs Luffy's help. So, as always, friends, I'd love to know what you guys think about this one. I am fully expecting to get very minimal views, or even if I get views on this one, I'm expecting to get a lot of hate. I'm just hoping that it won't be as much hate as I'm anticipating, right? Because with everything that we've been seeing throughout this God Valley flashback, with all this badassness from Xebec, right? With how he came to an end, how he met the Reaper. I'll put it like this, okay? I recently changed my screen name on Dota 2, right? And I've been considering changing my channel name here on YouTube to the same thing, Marshall D. Barlow. That is how invested in Teach I am, and how much I want to try and help other people understand that this kid was done dirtier than anybody in the story to date. That could change in the future. It could. I admit that. Oda's writing continues to get better the longer the story goes. But to date, Teach is the biggest victim of the world government and Emu out of anybody in the story. And I feel this pressure, I guess. I don't know. I feel something in me to join the rest of the Teach Glazers out here trying to spread the word that the rain is receding. The image, the view of Teach is becoming clearer and clearer by the reference. How much longer are y'all gonna hate on or hang on to the Teach hate bandwagon, y'all? Like, I really want to know, like, why? What is holding you back from accepting that Teach is more an anti-hero than a villain? Because I can't help shake this feeling that everybody who's still calling Teach a bad guy are the same people who call the Punisher, Constantine, and Wolverine bad guys. And that's just confusing. But, you know, As always, friends, I'd love to know what you guys think. Feel free to hit me up in the comments. As always, if a YouTube comment isn't enough, feel free to hit me up on my socials, X and Tumblr at Barlow Be Theorizing. And, if you want to talk more about One Piece, manga in general, Star Wars, Star Trek, I was going to say Lord of the Rings, but I don't got a Lord of the Rings channel. I do got kaiju first. Man, I love talking about some kaiju. If any of this sounds interesting or you just really like gaming stuff, feel free to join the Barlow Zone Discord community. Links to all three will be in the comments below. I hope y'all have an amazing day. Much love, friends.